So hello friends, so in this video we will see the information about the system databases in SQL Server and some important questions which we have asked in the interview. So first we see the information regarding the system databases. So in SQL Server, system databases are essential databases used by the SQL Server to manage the instance and performance core functions. There are mainly 5 types of system databases in the SQL Server with each its specific purposes. So these 5 system databases are: first one is the master database, second one is the model database, third one is the msdb, fourth one is the tempdb, and last one is the resource database. So these are the 5 type of system databases which we available in the SQL Server. When we have installed the SQL Server, that's time automatically by default the user databases has been the system databases has been created. For each instance we have created the new system databases. All the 5 system databases are present while we have installing the SQL Server. This is my SQL Server instance. So this is the system databases. These are the master, model, msdb and tempdb. So while you have installing, these system databases are by default present in our instance. So now we can see one by one what are the uses on what is this the databases means. First one is the master database. So master database stores the system level information such as the instance wide metadata like logins, system configuration settings, then databases on the instances, the information regarding the databases. All the databases is stored in the master database. The information of the file locations is also in the master database. Endpoints is also in the master database. The important nodes regarding the master database is if our master database is missing or corrupted, so we cannot start the SQL Server because of the if the master database is corrupted or the missing. So this is the important notes regarding the master database. So second number is the model database. Model database is nothing but the one type of database. It serves as a template for all newly created databases. Any object or settings like collision, recovery modeling the model is inherited by the new user databases. So in model database, customize the model database if you want all the new databases to have a specific setting or objects. You can see practically what is the working of the model database. So if the model database is nothing but the template of the newly created databases. So now we can see practically. So this is my model database. I am going to the properties of this, then go to the options, and this is the recovery model of my model database is full. Now full. So if I have created one new database, create database name, for example SS, and execute. the database name is like Rohit. So he gives some time. So I have created new database Rahul. So I am going to go to the properties of the Rahul database, go to the option, and the recovery model is full. So if when you have created the database, all the settings, all the configurations are same as model database. For example, if I have changed the configuration of model database, I have changed the recovery model of model database full to simple recovery, and now I have created another one new database like Sagar. So go to the Sagar database properties and check the recovery model is simple. This is the template of model database. This is the working of the model database. Next one is the tempdb. So tempdb database is used by SQL Server agent and other services. Stores jobs, schedules, alerts, SSIS packages, database mail, backup and restore, history, etc. So the msdb database crucial for the automation and job scheduling. So in SQL Server, these are the SQL Server agent. So in that, all the jobs, all the alerts, all the database mails, all the schedules information is stored in the msdb. Next one is the tempdb. Tempdb database is a database that temporarily workspace used for the temporary tables and variables. In tempdb uses for the sorting operations and the intermediate result sets. Special note about the tempdb is the tempdb is recreated. Tempdb is recreated fresh every time SQL Server starts. If we have getting the restart of our SQL server, that's time tempdb recreated every time. So it can be performance brokenness if not properly configured. And the main thing regarding the tempdb, we cannot take the backup of tempdb. This is the very important note regarding the tempdb database. Last one is the resource database. The resource database is the read-only database and hidden database of the SQL Server Management Studio. So the hidden system databases that contains the all SQL Server system objects like sys tables. So the resource database is not visible in the SQL Server Management Studio by default. It allows for the separation between the system objects and the user created objects in the master database. So these are the 5 types of system databases are present in the SQL Server. So now we can see the most probably asked questions regarding the SQL Server system databases. These questions are majorly asked in the database administrating interview questions. I have explained these questions as well as the answers. So first question is, what are the system databases in SQL Server? The answer regarding these questions is there are mainly 5 types of system databases are present in the SQL Server: master, model, msdb, tempdb and resource. These are the 5 types of databases available in the SQL Server. Next question, can SQL Server starts without the master database? No. SQL Server cannot start without a valid and accessible master database because it contains all the system level metadata such as the login accounts and the database locations. So that's the reason we have not start our SQL Server without the master database. Next question is, which system database is used for job scheduling and backups? So we can see now we can see previously the msdb is used for the SQL Server agents to store the jobs, schedules and backup history as well as the alerts and the operators. So answer of this question is msdb database. Next question is, what is the purpose of the model database? So model database is nothing but the template for all the new user database, acts as a template. Any object or setting in model is inherited when we have created the new database in SQL Server. So this is the main purpose of the model database. Next question is, what happens to tempdb when SQL Server is restarted? When SQL Server restarted, the tempdb has been recreated every time. Tempdb is recreated every time SQL Server restarts. All temporary tables, variables and objects are cleared. This is the answer of this question. Next question is, Can you back up the tempdb database? If yes, why? Or no, if why? So we cannot take backup of the tempdb database because tempdb cannot be backup because it's recreated fresh on each SQL Server start and only contains the temporary session specific data. We can already know the reason behind that. We don't know, we cannot take a backup of tempdb. So next question is, how would you restore the master database? These are the simple steps which we can follow for the restore the master database. First, we can start the SQL Server in the single user mode. Then we can restore the database master if we have the backup. Then next we can SQL Server will shut down after the restore, and then we can restart SQL Server normally. These are the steps we can follow for the restore the master database. Next question is, where is the resource database located? This question is also repeatedly asked in the interviews. So resource database is a hidden database and read only database stored as a MS SQL system resource.mdo and MS SQL system resource.ldo. It is physically located in the SQL Server binaries folder. Next question is, your SQL Server won't start and you suspect a corrupt master database. What do you do? If our master database has been corrupted, so our SQL Server have not been started. First we can follow these steps. First we can start the SQL Server in single user mode. Restore master from a non-good backup using restore database. If we have do not have a backup of the master database, that's time we can rebuild the system databases with the command rebuild command. This is the good option if we have not any backup of the database. That's time we can easily rebuild our master databases. Next question, how do you optimize tempdb performance in a high concurrency environment? So in a high concurrency environment we can easily optimize the tempdb performance with the help of following steps, like create multiple data files, one file per local core up to 8. Then place on the fast storage, like with the help of SSD. Resize file to prevent the auto growth. Enable press flags, example 1117 1118 in older versions. With the help of these steps we can easily optimize our tempdb performance. Next question is, what would happen if the msdb database is corrupted or deleted? If the msdb is corrupted or deleted, our SQL Server agent will fail to start. All the jobs, backup history, operations, alerts or we have schedule any maintenance plans. These all operations has been failed or will be lost unless restored from the back. Next question is, can you move system databases to another drive and how? Yes, we can easily move the system databases from one drive to another drive. For master, this is applicable for the master, model and msdb database. Only 3 system databases we have move the drive from one to another. So these are the steps we can follow for the move these drives. First we have stopped the SQL server, then move our MDF and LDF files, then update the startup parameters using SQL Server management, SQL Server configuration manager, and then then after the update the SQL Server startup parameter, start SQL Server. I can show you where is the these parameters presents. Means SQL Server configuration manager. We can change this startup parameter of MDF and LDF. So next question is, what will happen if the model database gets corrupted? If the model database is get corrupted in SQL Server, the consequences can significantly affect the creation of new databases and instance startup behavior, because the model because impact of the corrupted databases. What is the impact? SQL Server may fail to start. The model database is required to initialize tempdb on SQL Server startup. If model database is corrupted or inaccessible, tempdb can be created and SQL Server will fail to start with the error like error 945, database model cannot be opened due to the inaccessible files or insufficient memory or disk space. This error we can coming. Next scenario is, cannot create a new databases. If model is corrupted, so we cannot create new databases, because we can follow the template of the model database while creating the new databases. SQL Server uses the model databases as a template for the new user databases. If it's corrupted, any attempt to create a new database will fail. So this question also asks every time in the as a database administrator interview. So this is the most important question as well. As next is the what to do if model is corrupted. If model is corrupted, we can follow these steps. First one is the restore from a backup. If we have backup of the model database, we can easily restore this model database. We can start the SQL Server in single user mode, then restore the database from the backup. If we don't have a backup, so we can rebuild the system databases. So if we can rebuild the system databases, this will recreate the master, model, msdb and tempdb as fresh system databases. But while the rebuilding system databases, remove all the system level configurations like logins, jobs, linked servers, etc. This is the main important notes while we rebuild the system databases. So only use this if you have no valid backups. So if our model is corrupted, these are some best practices to be followed. Always backup the model database after any changes. Key system database backups as part of your regular backup strategy. Test restoring system DB in a non-production environment. This is the question of what to do if model is corrupted. So next question is how is a new database MDF created in SQL Server, and which database helps to its creation. So first we see how is a new database MDF is created in SQL Server. When we can run create database name command in SQL Server, that time SQL Server performs the action. First SQL Server reads the model database. SQL Server uses model as a template for creating a new databases. So any objects, settings or options in model, for example collision, recovery model, file groups, are copied to the new database. Next the allocate MDF and LDF files. So SQL Server creates a primary data file like .mdf and log file like .ldf. So these files are placed in the default file path unless overridden in the create database command. Next step is initializes the MDF file. A new data file MDF is initialized using the structure and settings of the model database. Tables like sys objects, sys indexes and others copied from the model are created in the background. Next step is updates the master database. A new database metadata name, file location, ID is stored in the master database. Particularly we can know with the help of query select star from sys.databases which database helps. So our next question is which database helps in its creation. So these are the two databases, model and master. Model database is used to template for a new databases, as well as the master database stores metadata about the new databases like ID, path, status, etc. Next question is why does the model database acts as a template? So purpose of the model database is designed to serve as a template so that every new database created in the SQL Server inherits the standard structure and all configuration. Reasons why model is used as a template. The first reason is the standardization. It acquires consistency across all newly created databases. Example, if you want all new databases to start with certain settings, example recovery model, collision, file size, you can configure them once in model. Second one is the automatic copy of objects. So any objects like tables, store procedures, users created in the model will automatically appear in the every new databases. Useful for the audit tables, default security roles, logging frameworks, etc. So next reason is configurable defaults. SQL Server does not hard code all defaults. It lets DBAs define their own starting point for database by ending model. For example, older database name set recovery model simple. Now every new database will inherit the simple recovery model. If we can change the recovery model full, so every new database will inherit full recovery model. Next reason is bootstraps tempdb. Tempdb is recreated every time SQL Server restarts. It is based on the model. So that's another reason model is, must remain clean and uncorrupted. And last reason is the reduced reworks. Save time is manually configuring every new database. Helps enforce organization wide standard automatically.